you're like me and you started your tomato seeds indoors, it's probably about time that you go ahead and transplant them into larger containers. I mean, look at mine. They are absolutely doing fantastic. They're thriving. They're growing so big and so strong. Now, typically I would have transplanted these probably after they got their second or third set of leaves. But as you can see, I mean, the soil was so good in here. I bought it from my local garden center. It was called Fresh Start, and they had just this amazing seed starting potting soil. I just wanted to kind of experiment and see how big that these would actually grow before I needed to transplant them. So now my experiment's definitely over, and they definitely need to be transplanted. Tomatoes, you know, if their leaves get wet and they're crowded like this and there's not enough airflow, that can really introduce diseases and all kinds of stuff that we just don't want. So we want to plant these in something larger, and you'll especially notice if the roots start coming out the bottom, then you'll definitely know that it is time to transplant your plants. So either if they have the second set of leaves or third set of leaves, you can transplant them, but also if those roots are coming out of the bottom, you definitely know that it's time to transplant. So get you some large containers like this, and let's go ahead and start transplanting. I'm so excited. All right, so let's see, I'm gonna start with this first tray. And these are my blue beauties and my yellow pears. Ooh, la la. Super excited. I'm gonna start with my blue beauties. And I'm just gonna pop it out. Super easy. And oh, look at those roots. Oh, they look so pretty. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, they're so pretty. They're doing really well. So the cool thing about tomatoes, a lot of times with plants, you can only, you know, place them in the soil and only put the new soil up to the same level as the soil was already at, if that makes sense. So right where the stem is coming out of the dirt. But for tomatoes, you can actually plant the stem as much as you want. So you don't want to go up too far to the leaves, but you can plant, like I can plant this up to here if I wanted to. So maybe up to this like first little notch here where the seed leaves, it looks like where the seed leaves were. I think that's where they were. But anyway, so you can plant this kind of deep here, and this will also help the stems to grow even stronger and to be even stronger. And actually, if you planted tomatoes and you notice that they're kind of leggy and they're kind of falling over and they don't look that good, then that's also a great time to just go ahead and pop it down deep in there, and then the tomatoes will actually grow roots from the stem. It's really, really kind of cool. So anyway, I always usually plant mine a little bit deeper, and then just compact the soil in there. And as these grow, I'll probably have to give them some kind of support, but I'll do an update video on that and what I kind of use and what I do for that. I always go as cheap as possible when it comes to stuff like this, as far as using random things around the house. And that is really it. And then we just will water him. Ah, he's so cute. And then make sure that you label them, because I have made the mistake, didn't do that before, and regretted it later, because I've, you know, obviously when I saw the tomatoes growing, I knew what they were, but it just makes everything easier so that you know whether to vine them up or cage them, or, you know, just don't forget to label. This one isn't very tall, so I'm not going to plant him as deep. I'm just going to keep him about the same height as he was. is a little bit different. As you can see, there's 2 of them in here. So I'm going to show you how to separate them and then plant them each. And it's really not hard. Now, some people would just take this and snap it off and call it a day. I like to save as many as possible. So I like to try to separate my plants so that I can have 2 plants instead of 1, because I don't like to waste plants. But a lot of people don't care about that, and honestly, I'm not really sure why. Sometimes the roots, if you disturb them too much, it can, not be very good for the plant. But tomatoes, I have found, are pretty resilient to getting the roots kind of disturbed. So as you can see, I'm just lightly separating these. I'm trying to get them to where the roots just come apart really easily and gently. All right, so here we go. And that's it. Now I got 2 tomato plants. And then I'll just plant these down in here. Now you do possibly run the risk of maybe losing a plant, but like I said, I've never had that issue with things like tomatoes or even like kale and collards and stuff like that. I've never had a problem separating them and disturbing the roots. But that's just my own experience, so it doesn't mean that it can't happen. But I think that they will be fine. And we'll just add a little bit more soil here. Pack it in there nice and deep. And he's gonna grow roots from the stem, so that's another reason why I'm not too worried about disturbing the roots at the bottom, because they're just gonna grow more roots. And now I have 2 separate plants that I'm sure will grow and thrive just fine. I'm gonna go ahead and give these babies a nice big drink. It's about 80 degrees out today, so I am going to probably leave these outside a little bit longer, just so that they can soak up some of the heat that's going on right now. But I don't want these in the sun. As you can see, it's super bright outside behind me. And if I put these little baby transplants directly in the sun, they're literally just gonna wither and get so sad and shriveled up. They're not gonna like it at all. So don't do that. Make sure that they're in the shade. And typically I would probably do this in the evening time and then just have them indoors. But I think that they would benefit from some of the heat, just not any direct sunlight. Here's another one that needs to be separated. These are my Brad's Atomic Grapes. These are going to be absolutely beautiful. If you saw my video of starting tomato seeds indoors and which ones I'm growing this year, then you know what those look like. And if not, then maybe go check that out, because these guys are one of the prettiest tomatoes I think I've probably ever seen. So I hope that they do well. So again, I'm just gently separating these. Nice and easy. You want to be super, super gentle when separating any transplant. You don't want to just like rip the roots all crazy. Bury him. I'm gonna go ahead and do that for the rest of these. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, happy gardening. Bye!